Hello, everybody. People are really quiet today. Can anyone hear me? Okay, great. Welcome to our session today, Checking Learner Progress. Once again, we're recording this, so you're giving us your permission by attending, and we thank you for that. We are going out on Facebook Live too, so we do recommend that you rename yourself rather than broadcast your first name and your last name. So you can do an alias or a first name from country X, Y, or Z, as I will do in a moment. You're familiar by now with your toolbar. Once again, we're going to direct you to our friend, the chat, because we love to hear from you. We love your opinions. That's kind of why we're teachers and do teacher training, I think, because we like to hear from other teachers. You've also got your reactions button on the right, and you know what that does, don't you? It lets you go like this or like this. And of course, Lisa and I and Ivana, we're old school. We like pen and paper. Hey, I'm sorry, we're that way.
We're digital and we're non-digital.
That's right. We do it all here at Relo Belgrade. Before, got a nice smiley from Lisa Hundley. All right, folks. Before we jump into things, let's look. Remember our sniglets? Sniglets are words that don't actually exist, but should exist. And we got some new ones from our team here. Someone did Koro style or Koro style, which is the unofficial code. I love that it's a code of dressing during pandemic. Involves wearing sweatpants and or pajamas. And perhaps behaving like that young man right there, as long as people can't see you. I love this one too, an on teacher. I know that most of you are on teachers because you're attending our course today. So welcome all you on teachers. Always online and ready to answer student questions. And then there's corroboration. I'm going to pronounce it corroboration. Corroboration, which is working together with other people to fulfill a common task during the coronavirus pandemic. And that's what we're doing right now, right? We are corroborating. So let us corroborate further by bringing Relo Belgrade's assistant Relo, Ivana Bankovic, and she is going to do an activity that I know you're going to love. So, Ivana, turning it over to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Hi, everyone. Well, we were really impressed by the range of countries we have here. The participants are joining us from all over the Europe and beyond. So we would like to do a very quick map activity. So I will just explain what you need to do first, and then I will share screen so we can see some of the results. You have the links in the chat box, and for those who are following us on Facebook Live, you can scan the QR codes now. So I'm giving you a second or two just to do that. When you follow the first link, let's just do the first question. Where are we joining from? So once you go to this Padlet link, you will see the map. And what you need to do is to add your city by clicking on the plus sign, the pink button in the corner, and add the city from which you are joining us. So I hope that you can see the screen and the map, and here we have several entries. First, I will show you where Kevin and I are joining from. We are from Relo Belgrade in Serbia. So here you can see our photo as well. And Lisa is joining us from Eisenstadt in Austria. So you can see her photo as well. And here we can see a lot of entries that you are putting in. You can see the map is changing when you're doing the entries. So here we have most of the entries here from Europe or beyond, but we have one entry from Costa Rica as well. That's great to see people from all over. We have somebody from Ankara, Turkey. We have people from Lithuania, Renata. We have people from Lubin, Polska, Ella from Lubin. You can see somebody from Bihać, Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have from Lom, Bulgaria. Oh, this is great to see so many entries.
Costa Rica looks kind of lonely out there.
Yeah.
Are you having a? We're glad to have you here, Costa Rica.
But this is the benefit of online technology. We are all here together, no matter how far away physically we are here together. We have somebody from Lodz in Polska. We have somebody from Hungary. Is it very easy for you to enter? I hope everyone can simply enter their city. You just go on this pink button, click on the entry. For example, Kragujevac. You can see here how you get the drop-down menu. You just click on the city and it's entered here. Good. And if you want to write something, you can add text as well. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see all the cities here.
Where are our Belarusians?
Yeah, nobody from Belarus currently.
Cool. I can see, Ivana, that people are already doing question number 2 as well.
Okay, so let's go to question number 2, and you can continue doing this activity after we stop. So the second activity is to tell us, where would you like to travel someday? So you can enter the city where you would like to travel someday, and also give us the explanation why in the description. So please don't just enter the city, but also tell us why would you like to travel there.
Yeah, so Australia, because I want to, walk in a desert, or whatever your answer is.
So let's give one example here. I will type in, for example, Bruges in Belgium. And here I can see my answer. And then I want to write, because when I was watching the movie in Bruges, I was enchanted by the city. So after watching a movie.
Oh, Costa Rica. Yes, I'll come visit. Be careful who you invite in the chat, because we might show up.
So how do you get it to, you just click anywhere else?
And then you just click anywhere else and your entry is there.
So I think this is could be a short writing activity that would really motivate learners.
Exactly. This can be one of the activities that you can use with your students, doing a simple map activity where they can write the passage or two about some topic.
Ivana, do you have the link handy to put it in again? I'm scrolling up and looking for it.
Yes, I will
Oh,
paste it
Dragan
in
is
the chat now.
okay. Great. So it's interesting how most of us are from Europe and want to travel within Europe, but quite a few people want to go to the United States. Looks like someone wants to go to Kansas. Hawaii, I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, I saw the Hawaii tag. Oh, Saudi Arabia, Greece,
Someone wants to go to Greenland.
Japan.
So let's see if we have some answers why.
Yeah. You know, as teachers, we were saying, I think in session 2, the golden word for teachers. We love the word why.
Exactly. So Charlottesville, USA, I will go there anyway because I belong to Sville. Okay. Maybe the description is still not finished. We have the Bahamas for my honeymoon after the pandemic. So that's a great plan.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Russia, Moscow, because I'm curious about its landscape and culture.
Okay.
Then we have Iceland, because it has beautiful nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have Thailand, Renata's dream. It's hot there.
Yes, it is. And
maybe Renata is from the cold place.
Papua New Guinea. What does the person say about Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, there is no description why.
Africa's not very popular. Kenya, Tanzania, and Egypt. Nobody wants to go to Cape Town, huh? One of the most beautiful cities in the world. Does anyone want to go to Brazil? Yes.
Yes.
But we have Rio de Janeiro because it's beautiful and so different. So I imagine.
It is best beaches.
Well, teachers, is this the kind of activity that you would do with your students online?
We'll get an emoji or a thumbs up.
Okay, should we?
Oh, we got some thumbs up. Great. Can you hear me okay? You can hear me, right? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
So thank you very much for your entries. You can continue to enter your responses while we move on with the webinar.
Yeah, and we will give you instructions on exactly how to set up this activity or something similar at the end of the session today. So hang in there, everybody.
That's great. I like seeing how engaged everybody is with this exercise, and it's something that I think you could do with a variety of learners, younger learners, adults, and everybody likes sharing where they're from. I think a lot of people do. It's something that also includes geography and finding out more about other countries and writing about it, looking at the map. The geography teachers will be happy too.
So Lisa, we're on you right now
with
this new session 4, checking learner progress. I'm so excited to check on learner progress because I need help in this area.
Excellent.
I really do. Over to you, Lisa Hundley.
Thank you.
Austria.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing okay. It was nice to see you warm up with this activity. And as Kevin mentioned, I'm in Austria. I'm from the United States originally. If you haven't joined us, if this is your first day, welcome. I live and work in Eisenstadt and work at a gymnasium. So my students are aged 10 to 18. Today, we will be looking at learner progress and checking our learners and what they're doing. This is day 4 of 5. So welcome back. We're glad that you're here. And my goals today are to suggest some activities that you can do to check your students, and also to have some approaches that you might take. And what I won't be talking about is institutional or formal assessment, or how to implement exams at your school or institution. No links to tests or anything like that. And I'm not going to give you grading rubrics, but I will give you suggestions of maybe things to think about when looking at our learners. A benefit of doing things online is that you can easily store materials. Like if you want to keep things to check what your students are able to do, you can reuse things, you can duplicate things between classes, between years, you can encourage your own digital competence, digital fluency, and also that of your students. And I think this encourages problem solving and acquisition of new skills, not just the knowledge that you're working with in your class. But remember that too many tools at a time can be overwhelming sometimes. So everybody understands things a little bit differently. So you know your students and your classrooms best. And when in doubt, I say keep it simple. So how are you checking your students' progress online, or how are you checking your students? We have a new tool we're going to show you today. This is a Zoom poll, and we'd love to get your response there. The choices are quizzes or tests, oral interviews or conversations, portfolios, journals, writing, or maybe just an overall feel, a bit more subjective. We'll look at those numbers coming in. That's fun to watch. Actually, I'm going to take a picture.
It is fun to watch.
I'm going to take a video of this on my phone while you're doing this. It's actually really interesting. The numbers are coming in.
Grab.
The numbers are coming in live. That's neat to see. Okay.
And for our Facebook Live audience, I'm not sure that you can see it, so I'm going to tell us that by far, teachers are assessing students mostly through quizzes, 74% of them, as well, and oral interviews or student speaking. I suppose this is what it means.
Like a speaking exercise.
Fully 1/3, 36% are using portfolios, and almost all are using writing as well. We put at the bottom of this poll kind of an overall feel, because we do subjectively rate our students, assess our students in our minds all the time, right? Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to end this poll here.
This is test writing. Great. Okay. We've got some comments in the chat as well. That's great to see. All right. So when we're looking at checking our students, I like to think about what is it that we're checking? Are we checking their comprehension of something that can be like a fact? Are we checking their understanding of content? Are we checking their knowledge? And are we checking their comprehension? Are we checking different things? What's happening there? Sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes my brain feels like this when I think about checking my students. I think, okay, I gave them a quiz. Okay, but what am I really checking? What's going on? Am I looking at their competence, their knowledge, their training, their learning, their growth, positive mindset, their experience as students, their experience with completing a task, their experience with learning? So I'm going to use the word checking today to encompass all of these things. And 1 second here. One thing I'd like to do is to remind us that there are a lot of materials already out there in the online environment, and it's good to simply find out what people have written before: quizzes, tests, websites, pages, activities, videos. So don't be afraid to reach out to the online community of teachers and humans out there. Okay, actually, Kevin, I've got the Zoom poll on my screen. Is that just me, or is that?
Yes.
Is it gone now?
I've got it in front of the slide.
Just close it.
Just close.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's on my end. Oh, I know. It's because I had your chat faces all covering my screen. Okay, thank you. Great. I want to see you guys too, not only the slides. All right, great. I've got it. Thanks. And I like to think about what is it that we're trying to check as teachers? Are we checking for us? Are we checking for the students? Is it for the school? Is it for the parents? Because I think there are a lot of things that go into finding out what our students are doing and grading and assessing and things like that. How important are grades? What do you think about that? We have another poll we'd like you to respond to, and I'll know this time to close it. Ah, there we go. I see.
I suppose how you
Important.
want, you can answer this in any way you want. I
Yeah.
mean, are the grades important to you, your administration, your students?
It's, oh, here come the numbers in.
Yeah, so what we're seeing on the screen is about 50% say it's important and 20% roughly very important. Only 5% say that grades are not important. And perhaps they're teaching in adult education or young learners.
Mm-hmm. And there are numerous reasons. Grades can be very motivating. Grades can be very stressful.
All right, thank you. I'm going to end that poll. Thank you for taking part, everybody. And you can see the results now.
There we go.
I'm going to do a little screen grab of that.
So it looks like most would say important. Well, that's good to hear. I was wondering if it would be more would say very important, but it looks like there are other things going into looking at what students can do besides just grades. So when we check students, we can use sort of traditional, I'm calling them traditional methods. There's methods that have been around for a while that give us a number, like a quiz or a test or a portfolio with a grade attached to it, a speaking exam, for example, with a grade attached to it, and a high score would suggest a high knowledge of English. If a person gets good grades, that can be very motivating. It can put them in a good position at school, for a future job in society, etc. So there's nothing wrong with this. And as you know, it doesn't always mean that because you have a high score, you're smarter. But it's not the only way that we can look at what students are doing. This is one quote that I selected today because I like to think about assessment as the creative paintbrush of the educator. And I don't know about you, but when I hear the word assessment, I sometimes think of something negative or something sort of just numbers and technical and doesn't take the person into account, which I realize isn't necessarily a fair judgment of the assessment of the word assessment. But if I like to think of checking students to inform my teaching and to inform our classroom experience, and it can enhance my toolbox or my paint set for the class.
Lisa, may I ask who
Sure.
Ryan Zamzov or Zamzo is?
He's an American teacher that wrote this in May. I don't know who he is. I saw it on a blog. And there was an article about assessment, and especially in the online environment these days, of how, because I think there's a question of how are we going to grade students this year? Some of us are going back to school. Some of us are not going back to school until September. So I know there's a question of how institutionally are we going to grade students? It's a challenging question. All right, you want to play a little game? Okay, I'm going to show you a game that you can use to check grammar, for example, and this is good for any level. This is good for any grammar point or any topic, and it's quite simple. It requires as much preparation as I'm taking right now as I speak to you. So everybody, please take a piece of paper. You can also take a small piece of paper. You can rip it up, that's fine. And take your pen a marker if you've got one. Oh, I see someone, Magdalena in Poland says you don't know the return date to school. Yes, I can imagine that's very stressful because it's hard to make plans for your teaching material, but also for everything else in life as well. Okay, are you ready? Everyone's got his or her paper. So I'm going to give you a phrase, and I want you to write a phrase. Sorry, pardon me. I'm going to give you a phrase. I want you to write a sentence that includes this phrase. Are you ready? Here is the phrase, by the time. By the time. Your phrase is by the time.
That's a good one. So your sentence is going to include that. And if you'd like to use the chat box, of course you can. We're very flexible here.
Yeah. When you feel that you are ready, hold your paper real close to your camera. If you're not sure if your sentence is correct or incorrect, you can make something up. That's allowed. Oh, I see a response in the chat already. Okay, can we have a couple responses held up? Let's see. By the time you read this, I will be long gone. That sounds like a song, Ivana. Nice. Let's see, we've got a couple. I see a lot of heads down writing. If you're finished, hold it up to your camera, please, for a while. By the time you get there, I will have left. Oh, very nice. Azra Muhedinovic. Sorry to say your full name. Azra, in a place in Europe. By the time,
We got a bunch of great ones in the cameras.
We will be here sitting. By the time, okay.
By the time I go back to school, all my students will be IT specialists.
Yes, by the time we finish, coffee will be ready. Okay, thank you very much. Everyone, I want you to virtually pretend to hand me your paper. Hand me your paper. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, bringing the teacher into the classroom. Thank you very much. Okay. So I'm going to collect some answers here. By the time I get back to school, my parents will have been in high school. By the time the pandemic ends, my students we will have got stronger. Yes, that is correct. I'm going to put it here. By the time we go home, I'm not sure about that. I'm going to put that into this pile here. By the time I finish lunch, I will have gone back to school. Yes, that works. By the time I am 100, I will have read all my books. Congratulations. Yes, that's correct. By the time she came, Lisa had left. Yes. By the time McDonald's cheeseburger, that doesn't look very good. I'm going to put that into this pile. Okay, so you get the idea. Thank you for your sentences, by the way. This game is called My Favorite No, because what I do is I check a grammar point. I ask students to write a sentence on a piece of paper. I collect them with no names, and I read them out loud to the class. And you can do this virtually as well, like we're doing now. And it's great because it doesn't take any preparation. And I put the correct sentences into a yes pile, and the, let's call them incorrect sentences, into the no pile. You can choose whether you want to use the word no or not. And then from the no answers, I choose one that I think is the most incorrect. So if there's one that you really don't understand or you're not sure, and I use, oh, this is a creative answer. Okay, interesting. And I write it on the board, or write it on the whiteboard in your video conferencing tool, or write it in chat even to your students, and then we work on correcting it together. So I like this because it gives everybody a chance to participate. You can't not participate. We will find you if you don't participate. And it gives students a chance to make a mistake, and it's okay.
Can I ask you why you call it My Favorite No? You might have already explained that, but
I choose the best, my favorite incorrect answer, the one that's the most creatively wrong, or the one that's like has is really, really wrong, like, wow, this is really good. This is a good wrong.
Okay, great.
It's,
We
I
got
know it's flipping things around a little bit, but it's a way to give students the chance to make mistakes in a safe way.
we got so many great sentences in the
Which
chat box. I just want to remind participants that there are 3 dots in your chat box, and if you go there, you can save the chat if you wanted to save a little text and read some of the sentences later. It's up to you. All right, thank you, Lisa.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Or what you could do is you could keep the sentences in the chat and use this grammar point with your students, and then you don't have to think of a sentence yourself. You can read, you can, what was it? Corona cheat? Corona, what was the word? Corona? You can Corona cheat something. All right. Another thing I like to use, another tool I like to use is Flipgrid to check pronunciation and intonation. Flipgrid is a website or an app. You don't have to use Flipgrid. You could also simply use an audio feature, for example, recording on a phone, but I like to record students to check pronunciation and intonation, and it lets you hear what they might need a little bit of help with or what is also clear and good. You can easily check your students with quizzes, and you might recognize this format. Some of you are well versed now in taking surveys from the week in this form. This is in fact a Google form, and these are very easy to create yourself as the teacher, and this gives you some feedback as well. A nice thing too is that the points are stored and you can see percentage wise how people respond. I also like to use different websites. Some of you may be familiar with Quizlet. We mentioned this yesterday, and I use Quizlet, for example, when I want to check vocabulary from a textbook, but also if I'm reading a book, for example. I have this behind me on the shelf. I've read the book Wonder with some students, and there are some good quizzes already on Quizlet made by other teachers, and I just borrow them. I like this because it gives students an opportunity to practice concepts and vocabulary in different ways. There are spelling activities, writing activities, short answer, matching activities. There's also a little game, and I can keep track of which activities students are doing. As you can see in the bottom, the grayed out part, those are the different activities that students could do. And this is actually from a class in 2015-16, and so it's already been deleted, but I just wanted to use it to show you what you can do. You could attach this to a grade for yourself if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Oh, somebody said they like the book Wonder. It's a fantastic book. If you haven't read Wonder, I highly recommend it. It's great, especially for 13, 14 and up. Checking with games is fantastic. And I think some of you might have heard of Kahoot. This is another website. You can also use it through its app. A teacher account is required, and students enter the Kahoot game by entering a code on their smartphone, tablet, or computer, laptop.
Let's see if they have heard of Kahoot or used it before. Is that okay, Lisa?
Absolutely. Let's have a look. I was going to ask for a thumbs up too. Okay, have you ever heard of Kahoot? Oh, we got a question here. We got multiple ways, but I like seeing everybody's thumbs up.
So it looks like
ooh, no.
We're looking at about 40% of teachers have used it many times. So it is one of the world's more popular teaching tools. But fully about half have never used it before. So that's cool. Maybe we will, I don't know if we're going to try it today. I don't know. Let's see the results of our poll, folks.
47% say they've never used Kahoot before. I don't know, Kevin, what do you think? Should we try it?
I'm game.
Okay.
So I already shared the results, right?
Oh, there are the results. Great.
Okay.
So, and Kahoot is not just a game for children. It's a game that adults also love and get really into. So you responded to the poll. Thank you very much. And because most of you have not tried it, let's go ahead and try it now. And we're going to screen swap. And we've got some instructions here first. Sorry, I forgot about that. It really helps if you have your phone with you, because it's easy if you play it on your phone while you're looking at your device. If you're listening to this webinar on your phone, oh, that would be a challenge to see if you can do both. I recommend playing on your phone, and it involves you tapping one of 4 colored rectangles, and you watch the game that I'm going to direct on the screen. So if you've got your phone handy, go to Kahoot.it, which I see Ivana has put into the chat. That's great. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, not on your phone only, go to Kahoot.it. You don't have to have the app on your phone, but if you do, then just tap the app. And we're going to swap screens. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to play, and I'm going to do it with no volume. I'm going to do full screen. Okay. I'll put music on while you're signing in. So enter the code 884949, and we have multiple people here today. So I'll wait a few minutes till some people are in, and then at one point, I'm going to start the game. I hope I don't cut you off.
I'm in.
You in? All
My
right.
name is Sparkle Cat.
Sparkle Cat is in. Florida's in the house. All right.
Oh, great. We got a lot, 77 players. I've never done Kahoot with this many people.
I haven't either. I wonder if we can get 100.
Honey Nani's here.
I wonder if we can get 100.
Come on, we can get 100. And the person who is number 100 will win a dog. Probably nothing.
Okay, let's do 120. Yeah. Okay, we're going to start.
Oh,
okay.
Fantastic.
By the way, by the way, the great thing about this as the teacher, because students should sign in using nicknames, you can actually use Kahoot to grade, like give them a quiz that will be legitimately graded for points. And those students would enter their real names, but usually they enter with using a nickname, and sometimes they're not appropriate. So all you do is you click on their name, and you kick them out, and they have to enter with a more appropriate name.
I see that Jimmy Hoffa made it here.
Oh,
today,
he's very mysterious. Maybe he's hanging out in Albania today, or let's get to 150. Okay, we can do it. Come on, world. Or 141. I think we're hovering around there. Okay, let's begin. Are you ready? This is a three question Kahoot. Okay. So just hit the color answer.
And of course, you'll need to answer on your own screen, right?
Yes. Ooh, okay. I knew it. You thought I lived in Vienna. No, I live in Eisenstadt, which is near Vienna. Okay, next question. Ooh, who got, Ishil got it, is the fastest.
Ishil's fast.
Yeah. Here's a true false.
To use Google Docs, you need to be in Google Classroom. Wow.
You do not.
You
89
do
of you
not.
said you were correct there. Good.
You can use Google Docs anytime.
That's correct. All right, you ready? Ooh, let's see who's ahead. Ooh, Dea. Okay. Oh, it's close between Dea and Beata. Ooh, and Stama V. And
It's a
Brahmit.
really tight battle.
This is a serious race. Okay, here's the
We
last.
only have one more question, though.
I know. Who's going to be the fastest? We're taking a poll. 30, I think I accidentally hit us too early. I'm sorry. 31 speaking and what have we got there? Speaking and writing. Okay.
So it's really,
Pretty even, actually.
yeah, except for reading, which I chose myself as the hardest to check online.
Interesting. Okay. I also think it's one of the most challenging to check online. Good. Okay. Let's.
So sorry if some of you didn't get in there.
I think I accidentally tapped my touchpad with my finger and I didn't mean to, and my cursor was on the next button. Okay. We're going to end the game. So let's see who's the winner. In place 3. Yes, Nama, bronze medal. Beata, silver medal.
And that's got to be me. It's got to be me. Dea. Okay, good job. Let's do a little dance for Beata, Dea, and Stama.
Congratulations.
So I wonder if the audience noticed differences in the 3 questions that we asked.
We asked 3 questions. Do you remember the first one? Yeah, and someone said, I didn't see questions, only colors. You answer on your phone, you will only see the colors, and the game is actually on the instructor's screen. So the questions that I asked were, where is Lisa from? And that's a close-ended question. There's only one answer. The next question I asked was a true-false, and that's also a kind of close-ended question. And the last question was a poll, so trying to get your opinion or feedback. I think Kahoot is very effective because it keeps all learners engaged. It's easy to tend towards asking primarily close-ended questions, so you might want to consider changing it up a little bit and not overusing it. There are other question formation options with Kahoot, but oftentimes that requires also a premium paid for subscription. And if you just want the basic version, you have a more limited option of what kinds of questions you can answer.
I agree, Lisa. I've seen this a number of times in classrooms, and it's almost always used in quiz show mode. That is 1 correct answer out of 4, and whoever can get it the fastest and the correct answer. And of course, people love this because it's very competitive. But Kahoot can do more than the closed-ended question.
And it's good to keep in mind what else you could, or you could make this part of a lesson instead of just the only activity. But it's great also if you do want to simply add in an activity to get people energized. It's really helpful. And yeah, adults like it too, especially people who are very competitive. One thing I often try to do with any age learner is have students make Kahoots. And they come up with amazing content and amazing ideas. As the teacher, it's a good idea if you check their spelling, grammar, vocabulary, etc. And it also gives really interesting insight into things that maybe aren't part of our usual lesson, like typing and spelling and things like that. So having students make Kahoots is also really helpful. So there are tools that you can use online and to check what students can do, what their progress is, what their comprehension is, what their understanding is and knowledge. And I think it's also important to look at the whole student as well and find out a few other things that might be going on. If I ask you something like a poll question, it can help me as a teacher because I can then inform how the rest of the lesson is going to go. So for example, if I want to know what you think about something in advance, if I want to know your belief about something, your misconception perhaps about something, by asking you what you know about it, it can lay the groundwork for teaching. So this can be very helpful. Another great way to check student understanding and progress over time is to give them a multi-day assignment, like keeping diaries, journals, writing some sort of text like poems, songs, etc. Portfolios are also a fantastic way to find out what your students can do and can't do and what they know about. There are so many online templates that it can be overwhelming to choose some. So have a look online and see what fits best for you. But I want to show you one example that's quite easy to use. It's part of the Google Suite, since we've been mentioning Google things. You go to Google Sites, and one of the templates that you can use is called Portfolio. So this is, for example, what I'm going to do with my students when we go back to school. I'm going to ask them to make a Corona Diaries portfolio of all of the things we've been working on online since being at home. And I made this rubric for myself, or using the rubric, I made this front page of my portfolio. It took me about 10 minutes. So it didn't take very long. And this is something that I would guide students through before asking them to do it without instruction. A portfolio should include ideally clear guidelines about what you expect, so that the students know what they can expect when you're grading them. It should also include your grading guidelines or a grading rubric. This can be as simple as a checklist. Yes, you have it. No, you don't. It can be on a scale for points. And it should include assignments demonstrating a variety of activities and skills. And I think it's a good idea to have student input on some of the content. Maybe include one of the categories of your portfolio as your favorite piece of work, your favorite activity, something that shows something special about you. One example could be, for example, with the map thing that Ivana showed you at the beginning today, which is really neat to see where everybody's from. You could have your students do a travel guide project. They could expand on either talking about their hometown or their home region, or where they would like to go in the future. This might be homework coming up. Another thing I like to keep in mind is I like to remind myself that something that I enjoy about being a teacher is that I want to know what students are doing. I don't want to only know what they can produce, but I want to know what they're doing while they're working on something and while they're going through this process called learning. And I think the online mode can give us some insights into that sometimes. I'm not trying to say I've found the nexus of learning, but I think it's interesting to observe them. I have a little video clip here, and you can see that going. This was a task that some of my 18-year-old students were working on word formation. And every time you see a colored rectangle, that means a new student is jumping onto this Google Doc to add to it. So it's kind of interesting as the teacher. You think, wow, we're all located in different places, but they're all working on it now. So we're connected. It's neat. On this Google Doc, there's also a chat feature. So if there's something I don't understand, I can ask them a question, maybe make a suggestion, and they can comment. So we can collaborate to come to an answer that everybody's happy with. It's different than me saying, this is wrong. The students also, sometimes they like changing the document quite completely, actually. And for those of you who completed homework assignment number 3 by going into our Google Doc and adding your name, thank you very much. That's probably one of the most colorful documents I've seen in the last few days. And one student wrote, there are no instructions, learning by doing. So I thought I would share that with you, because I think that is kind of a good motto actually to think about sometimes. And the original name of this assignment was the 8A warm-up word formation, and they changed it to 8A warm-up word for all nations. Ha ha. If you have adult learners or students, one thing that I've done that has been very rewarding is something called a self-directed learning project. And this is actually an idea I got from a colleague at the college here. And she's very creative and has really great ideas about how to put professional students' ideas together. And this is something where students choose a topic to work on, they document their work, and then they reflect on it. It's kind of like it's a portfolio, but for adults and professionals. And they complete a portfolio with evidence of something that they have determined is a learning goal. I'm going to stretch a little bit here. That's a learning goal. And they decide on tasks on their own to reach those goals. And they need to connect it by reflecting in writing how it connects to their professional life. In order to establish their goals, they need to go through some thinking and some process, and sometimes the teacher can help with this. For example, I had a student tell me, well, I need to work on my grammar because it's bad. My grammar's bad. To me, that's a little bit vague, and I asked him to think about what is bad about your grammar, and we deduced it down to, okay, he has trouble with the ing forms, present continuous, etc. That's more precise to me than I have bad grammar or my grammar is bad. Or another student said, not with a linguistic feature, but with, I have trouble with business meetings. And by the way, I don't know about you, but do you have students who email you and say, Flipgrid doesn't work. I can't upload my homework. Okay, when students have a problem, sometimes they need help articulating what exactly they need help with. It's better to say, I can't follow the conversation at a business meeting. I had some moments where I would ask the student, okay, you say you're not good at present perfect, like, how do you know you're not good at it? And I would just get this look. They've never thought about that before. They think they're bad, but they don't know why. I say, well, then why are you bad at it? So they would formulate clear goals and use the phrase, by the end of the semester, I will be able to. So it was kind of thinking of this project as a journey, as a goal towards reaching something. For example, improving reading by reading certain journals, by improving speaking, giving a presentation at our family winery, using presenting phrases. These are very nicely articulated, achievable goals, I think.
It's great for practicing by the time or by the end of the semester too.
So what they turn in is a portfolio with evidence of their achievable goals, clearly documented and written out, and all of the tasks that they decided to do throughout the semester. They would keep a log of activities and their reflection along the way on the whole process. And actually, I can show you one. So I didn't take a screenshot of this because I thought sometimes it's nice to show you hard copies of things. This is one that one student put in a binder with lots of documentation. She also has an electronic version, which is why I have the hard copy. And she actually did one for all 4 semesters of her studies. So this to me is something nice that a person could have in their hand, and it's all their English course, and I think it's quite nice. By the way, the nice thing about having a completed portfolio from a student and not made by you is you can show future students, model what is expected. So this self-directed learning project, they would turn it in, get a grade, submit it electronically if they decided, or on paper if they decided. And I think most of them agreed that it was a useful process. At the beginning, they did not know what I wanted them to do. They thought, wait a minute, why do I have to think so much about my own learning? A lot of students aren't used to thinking about their own agency in their own learning, and they're used to someone telling them what to do. But with this kind of approach, I think you can guarantee at least some sort of growth. I don't know how much, but something will happen. So when we're thinking about looking at student progress, looking at student knowledge, looking at what students can do, I think it's important to keep in mind what we're looking for, what we're looking at, and also thinking about what students can and cannot do. Points-based testing or an achievement is great. It can be motivating, but I don't think it's quite enough. And everything that we do, taking our students' abilities into consideration, can really be used to inform our teaching. What did you think? We'd love to hear your feedback, and I think Kevin's going to pop up.
I am going to pop up with a poll, a very easy poll.
Poll here.
A very easy Zoom poll. But I'd also like you, while you're taking this super easy Zoom poll, there's your poll. So while you're taking that, also write in the chat box, is there anything that you might use today from, for example, the map activity, Lisa's favorite no material, or Kahoot, anything that you learned today that you might use, please just let us know in the chat box.
The chat, yeah. Oh, I'm back. I think my volume, I must have accidentally swiped my volume down. I got it. Self-directed learning projects, Padlet.
You are very generous people.
You are.
Teachers are like that. That's why they get this job. So we really thank you for your participation today. And we thank you for this excellent rating. And I'm going to end our poll and show you the results.
Great, thank you.
So thank you very much, everybody. But we're not done yet.
Oh, did you think that we would finish without giving you homework number 4?
But you're gonna love this homework. You're gonna love this homework.
Someone asked if we can continue webinars next week. Maybe if we just have like a super open topic, like let's just talk.
Actually, I'm going to invite you back in about 10 days for a special session, a reunion. But one more thing here is food for thought. We're often talking about language level or correctness, students' grammar. But I think in the big picture, Lisa often points out, think of the big picture. How can we check, assess, and encourage in the future creativity in learners, problem solving, ability to work in teams, leadership and management? Because those are going to be the things that really make a difference. Don't you think, Lisa?
Absolutely. And those are the skills that people need to be contributing members of society as well. And I think this can come into play when you're thinking about the design of your activity, and to reward creativity in certain ways, to reward students who show abilities in problem solving, because I'm sure as teachers you've seen one student who's not good at one particular area may have strengths that you never realized in another area. And especially to give students opportunities for leadership, I think that's an important consideration as well.
Let's go over to Ivana. And
Thank you, Lisa and Kevin. Well, let me just quickly explain what we have in mind for homework number 4. We thought that you might find it interesting to create your own map activity. We know that you are so creative and we love seeing your answers to the homework so far. So of course you don't have to do it, but I think it would be very interesting for you to create your own map activity that you can use with your students as well. So let me quickly tell you how you can do that for those who never used this tool before. You can go to padlet.com, and if you don't have an account already, you can create it very easily. Just enter username and password, create your account, or you can sign up with Facebook or Google account. After that, you can click on Make a Padlet button, And let me quickly show you my screen to see what I mean when I say make a Padlet. So I hope you can see here this pink button, make a Padlet. It's very simple. Here you can see I have several Padlets already open. And then when you click on make a Padlet, you can go to, it opens up like this. And then you can click on these three dots here in the right corner. You can choose change format. If you see here, change format is an option that gives you several options. How do you want your Padlet board to look like? So you can choose a wall, a map, or several other options. Here you can choose the map. Then you can go to the settings here, this wheel, and here you can change your map style. So you can choose from different map styles in different colors. You can choose the font, etc. And here you can pose the question you would like your students to answer to, and the description, give them the explanation. So very simple, very easy. When you adjust the settings, you will get your Padlet board. And in order to share it with your students, you can just click here on share and copy link to clipboard. This link you can share with all of your students, or you can get the QR code like we were showing you during the session. And then your students can simply scan with their phones the QR codes and enter the Padlet. So that's it. Very simple, very easy to do. And we are looking forward to getting your responses. Once you have the link for your Padlet board, you can paste it into your Google Classroom session number 4. Thank you very much.
Big round of applause for Ivana. And big round of applause for Lisa. And thank you for indulging us tonight. We went a little bit over in time. If you haven't liked or followed us on Real Belgrade on Facebook, we don't mind if you do. I don't know what's, tomorrow is Friday. It's the last day of our course.
Oh my goodness.
And we're going to have deliver certificates to you, online self-sign certificates. But before that, we're going to unlock the 4 skills. Oh my goodness, this sounds mysterious and exciting, Lisa. What do we have in store?
Oh, tomorrow we've got kind of a Good Friday collection of activities that we're going to do with you, some approaches that you can take, and hopefully you'll go into the weekend delightfully exhausted and ready for whatever's happening on Monday. And we'll give you some ideas of how you can adapt some activities maybe to the online format as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. See you tomorrow, the last day. Don't miss it. Bye-bye.